So welcome back to Basin, Montana, in the Merry Widow RV Park.
Do we
This
need
is
a
day
driver's
2
meeting?
of our 4th annual Northwest Can Am Maverick Trail meet. Today's going to be a big day. There's actually 2 rides happening today. One ride is going out to Ringing Rocks, and the other ride is heading up to Blizzard Hill. Now, the Ringing Rocks ride is a very long ride. It's 80 plus miles, and it's an out and back. So it's 80 miles total, 40 something each way. And there's a lot of big open spaces and a lot of open roads, but there's a pretty technical area about 2/3 of the way there. So the Blizzard Hill is an option for those that really don't want to do the technical and gnarly stuff. So the group's been kind of split up. The old buzzard Dan Plute, he's leading the ride up to Blizzard Hill, and Josh and Bill are leading the 2 rides heading over to Ringing Rocks. Alan is going to be our tail gunner. We're going with Josh's group today, so we've got Alan as our tail gunner today, and they're going to try to do their best to keep this group in line and moving and covering ground pretty quickly. But we're just sitting having our driver's meeting, talking about the day, getting ready to go. But we are heading out to Ringing Rocks. Like I say, I've seen video of Ringing Rocks, and it just doesn't register in my head. It's the oddest thing. But I had to see it with my own eyes, and I had to hear it with my own ears. So I'm all excited to head out there. Ringing Rocks is something. It's I don't know. It's a wonder of the world. It's just amazing what it is. But yeah, join us for day 2. Join us on the way out to Ringing Rocks. So if you're wondering how an event like this happens and how this group of people came together for something like this, I go into really great detail about that in part 1. So if you're just jumping into part 2 and you haven't seen part 1 yet, I'll put a link to that video up at the top. I suggest you go watch that one first and then come back to this one, just like I say, because I do go into detail about how this group happened. But the long and short of it is there's a Facebook page, the Can Am Maverick Trail Facebook page, that the old buzzard Dan Plute is the admin of that page, and this is the 4th time that he's got the group of us together up in the Northwest. And you know, the idea is hopefully in the future there'll be a Southwest and a Northeast and a Northwest, but Dan's the one that puts pretty much all of this together and starts making plans. I mean, in fact, as I'm making this video, he's already working on next year's Trail meet. So I spared you a lot of the road riding up to this point. A lot of roads and a lot of miles to get to here. But now things start to get interesting. This is where the fun starts. So we'll spend most of the video, the majority of the video, on the cool parts of the way there. Yeah, we now are back up in the woods. This is our first kind of obstacle. I don't even want to say them, and it doesn't look bad. Camera angle never does it, but this is a pretty steep little hill, and there's 3 ways up it. Trying to decide who wants to go which way, and anyway, this is kind of the first thing. It's just this hill. But yeah, from here on out, things start to get things are more our speed now, more of what we're looking for. Things get pretty, things get technical, things get fun and scenic. This is where things start to happen.
Over thousands of years, these boulders were formed by the erosive action of water. A rare geological experience awaits visitors. When struck lightly with a hammer, each boulder gives off a bell-like tone, with the size and shape of the boulder affecting the tone. If removed from this site, a boulder will no longer tone. Enjoy the ringing rocks here and leave a clean, attractive setting for the next visitor. Now, this is something that makes no sense to me, but here it is. I'm not editing, I'm not adding any sound. This is what it sounds like when you whack some of these rocks with a hammer. They ring. And I've been told, and the sign says, that if you take one of these rocks that ring, if you take it off the pile, it doesn't ring anymore. It's just a rock. I mean, they're not hollow. I mean, these are just plain old rocks, and the way they're stacked. And I've seen videos, and there doesn't seem to be any settled reason as to why this does this. But there it is.
No, you're fine.
It's just, it still amazes me how and why. But it really was worth the drive out here.
You got your stick blade. You buy a stick blade? Oh yeah, I've got a Super AT, a half-inch stick blade.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
totally.
Okay. Oh, you got that one too?
We have a really heavy one.
But as we leave, we're taking a little bit of a detour loop before we get back onto the trail, going back the way we came. A lot of fun little whooshing back and forth. A lot of this fast sand track. It's really pretty fun. Just over to a bathroom so we could all take a little bathroom break if we needed. And then we headed back. Now, I know this is an out and back, and just to keep things a little bit interesting, rather than show you the same thing twice, I pulled some cool sections and footage out of on the way there, and then I'll put a different set of cool footage for the way back, so you don't see the same thing twice necessarily. But we are heading back. area the majority of the ride back into town. It's all just roads from here on out. Yeah, really good day. And bringing rocks was something I don't think I'll ever forget. It's still, I watch it now and it does not make sense to me. But I'm really glad we made the trek out there to check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for day 2. Not much happening back at camp. Dinner and hanging out and drinking a couple of beers and visiting with everybody and planning out for the trip for tomorrow. But yeah, a couple of more parts still to come. 2 more days of riding still to come. So stay tuned for part 3 and we'll see you on the trail.